In the annals of history, few institutions command the awe and mystery of the ancient Library of Alexandria. Imagine a place where every scroll, every parchment, held a piece of humanity's accumulated wisdom. A repository so vast, so ambitious, it defied the very notion of boundaries. But what if this insatiable hunger for knowledge, this refusal to censor or exclude, ultimately sealed its fate? What if the very act of collecting every known text, every challenging idea, every forbidden philosophy became an unforgivable sin in the eyes of shifting powers? This is the story of a library that sought to hold the world and the tragic fires that consumed it, not by accident, but for the dangerous truths it dared to preserve. Our journey begins in the 3rd century BCE, in the vibrant heart of Alexandria, Egypt. Founded by Alexander the Great, the city became a beacon of Hellenistic culture under the Ptolemaic dynasty. Ptolemy I Soter, Alexander's general, envisioned more than just a city. He dreamed of a universal center of learning, a place where all the world's knowledge would converge. His successor, Ptolemy II Philadelphus, brought this dream to fruition, establishing the Great Library, a monument not of stone, but of intellect. It was an unprecedented undertaking, driven by an ambition to possess every book ever written. The library wasn't merely a storage house for scrolls. It was the intellectual engine of the Mouse Ion, a temple to the Muses. This complex attracted the greatest minds of the ancient world: mathematicians, astronomers, poets, physicians. Archimedes, Euclid, Eratosthenes, Hipparchus, their names echo through history, their ideas forged within these very walls. Scholars lived and worked there, dedicated to reading, copying, and translating texts from every civilization. It was a true academy, a research institution unmatched in its era, transforming Alexandria into the undisputed intellectual capital of the world. The methods for acquiring texts were legendary. Agents scoured the known world, purchasing or even seizing scrolls. Every ship entering Alexandria's harbor was searched. Any book found was copied, the original often kept for the library. This relentless pursuit amassed an astonishing collection, estimated to be between 400,000 and 700,000 scrolls. It housed not only Greek masterpieces, but also Egyptian, Persian, Babylonian, and early Hebrew texts. This ambition knew no bounds. It was a library that truly sought to hold every known human thought, regardless of origin or popular opinion. In its vast collection, the library amassed not just agreeable knowledge, but texts that dared to challenge. Philosophical treatises questioning divine rule, scientific theories contradicting religious dogma, histories offering alternative narratives, even magical papyri deemed dangerous. These scrolls represented a confluence of ideas, some harmonious, others fiercely contradictory to established norms. By housing them all under one roof, the library implicitly championed intellectual freedom, inadvertently accumulating a treasury of what future powers would deem radical, blasphemous, or even banned thought. For centuries, the library thrived, a testament to intellectual curiosity. But the world was changing. As the Roman Empire rose and later embraced new ideologies, particularly early Christianity, the vast collection of pagan and secular knowledge within Alexandria became increasingly suspect. Texts celebrating old gods, advocating polytheism, or presenting scientific explanations contrary to nascent religious doctrine were no longer merely academic curiosities. They became threats. The very inclusivity that defined the library now rendered it vulnerable, a repository of dangerous whispers in a world demanding monolithic belief. Alexandria itself became a melting pot of cultures and conflicts. Greek, Jewish, and Egyptian populations often clashed, and with the rise of Christianity, religious tensions escalated dramatically. The city was a microcosm of the wider ideological battles of the late ancient world. In this volatile environment, an institution dedicated to preserving all knowledge, irrespective of creed or dogma, stood out like a defiant flame. Its very existence, a beacon of intellectual pluralism, was perceived as an affront by those who sought singular truth and absolute faith, sowing the seeds of its eventual destruction. The library's first significant setback, though not directly ideological, occurred during Julius Caesar's siege of Alexandria in 48 BCE. Trapped in the royal palace, Caesar ordered the burning of his own ships to prevent them from falling into enemy hands. The fire spread, consuming parts of the docks and, tragically, some of the warehouses storing scrolls adjacent to the library complex. While not a direct attack on the library itself, this incident symbolized the vulnerability of knowledge in times of war and was a harbinger of the greater catastrophes to come, thinning the irreplaceable collection. Centuries later, the fate of the library's daughter institution, the Serapeum, offers a chilling glimpse into ideological warfare. In 391 CE, under the decree of Roman Emperor Theodosius I, who had made Nicene Christianity the state religion, Theophilus, Bishop of Alexandria, led a mob to destroy the Serapeum. This magnificent temple, which housed a significant part of the library's collection, was seen as a bastion of paganism. Its destruction was not an accident of war, but a deliberate act of religious cleansing, a systematic eradication of texts and symbols deemed heretical or offensive to the new dominant faith. The destruction of the Serapeum marked a pivotal moment, but the great library's decline was a long, complex process, not a single event. Over centuries, funding dwindled, scholars dispersed, and intellectual curiosity waned in the face of political instability and religious conservatism. Scrolls were lost to neglect, decay, and deliberate erasure. As the world moved on, valuing different forms of knowledge, the vast, challenging, and often contradictory wisdom of the library became a burden. Its contents, once celebrated, now represented a past that many sought to bury. While no single final burning unequivocally consumed the entire Library of Alexandria, the cumulative effect of these events, Caesar's fire, the destruction of the Serapeum, and centuries of neglect, censorship, and ideological suppression, led to its demise. The library, which dared to collect and preserve every banned thought and every heretical idea, was ultimately burned, not necessarily by one grand flame, but by the slow, insidious fires of changing power, intolerance, and a world no longer willing to embrace the boundless, challenging truths it held. It was burned for the radical freedom it embodied. The story of the Library of Alexandria is more than just a tragic tale of lost scrolls. It is a profound warning. It reminds us that knowledge, when unconstrained and diverse, can be perceived as a threat. The quest for universal understanding, the courage to house contradictory ideas, and the refusal to censor can, paradoxically, incite the very forces determined to extinguish such light. The burning of Alexandria was not merely an architectural loss, but a symbolic immolation of humanity's shared intellectual heritage, a stark reminder of the enduring battle between curiosity and control, and the precious, fragile nature of truth itself. What truths are we losing today?